Hey guys, Real Comic Stacks, and we're checking out Winter Soldier number 3, and this book has been a lot of fun. I've really been enjoying it. Before we get started, let's check this out. You should subscribe. Okay. Are you going to leave a like? Yeah. Make sure you check out our 200 subscriber live stream on Saturday, 8 p.m. Central Time, 16 February. Guys, come out. We're going to talk about everything from Captain Marvel box office to Marvel Comics to the MCU and theories and everything in between. And if you've been to one of my chats before, man, we will go wherever the chat takes us, and we typically have a really good time doing it. So guys, come on and check that out. But let's get into the comic book. So this book starts with Tony Stark working once again on Winter Soldier's arm, and he's advising him. He's like, look man, come from a guy that has had a lot of collateral damage in the days. You need to invest in a backup arm, because I can't just fly out to the middle of Indiana twice a week to make sure your arm is straight. And I love Tony's humor here, because he calls him out. He's like, what do you really know about this kid other than you guys have the same taste in fashion? Obviously he's referring to how RJ is basically dressed like Bucky Barnes of old in the Captain America days used to be. And he's like, look, I know enough. And he's basically saying, I know about the brainwashing. I know what they do to these kids. And I know what they tried to make him into. From there, we drop into a conversation with RJ and Bucky. And Bucky's basically explaining, look, what's going on here. And telling him, hey, look, you got shot, but you're healing up. And RJ's just like, I don't understand. He's like, look, you know, I know what it's like. I've been there. You can stay here as long as you like, but ultimately, you know, I'm here to help. I'll help any way I can. And think about how confusing this is for RJ, because the guy that he has been trained to kill is now showing this compassion towards him and saying, look, I want to help you. And it is confusing for a kid that's been through this brainwashing. And you jump forward 2 weeks, and that's what he's dealing with. He's sitting with the psychiatrist, or is it, whatever one it is, therapist. He's sitting with somebody talking to him about it. I don't know, it could be a mechanic that's sitting there and he's like, yeah, let me just write things you say down on this paper. He's got green looking hair though, so he seems legit. Though I think that might have just been a bad job by the colorist. Maybe. I'm not sure, because his eyebrows are green. Is that normal? I don't know. But he is a legit doctor anyways, and basically RJ is shutting down. He's not wanting to talk about it. He doesn't trust anybody right now. He's very conflicted, doesn't know what's going on, and I mean, do you blame him? Well, they're sitting there having their after brief when Dr. Sampson asks Bucky, hey, what's up with your journaling? You still having the nightmares? And he says, yeah, I'm doing it. I'm journaling them, writing them all down, like you said, Doc. And guess who's listening? Bum, bum, bum. It's cool, though, because surely he wouldn't. Yes, he would. He would go read another man's diary. It's not a diary, it's a journal. Shut up. Listen, I gotta call this out. Winter Soldier, Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, a feared assassin who has killed more people than he even cares to remember, and he would not write diary on his journal. He wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. It would be journal. That's it, not diary. Come on, Marvel. Well, they're out later and out shopping. I'm guessing probably at like New York and Company, since Winter Soldier's keeping a diary now. But he gets a call and says, hey, I got a mission. You want to come with me? You'll go with? Yeah, sure. And he says, hey, how else can I show you that I trust you other than taking you along with me? But the best line of that whole conversation is when RJ looks over at Bucky and says, how is it nobody has killed you yet? And Bucky's just like, it ain't for lack of trying. So after this, they rush out to meet with this guy, and he thinks that somebody's after him. And while they're sitting there, holed up in this cabin, RJ's like, hey, I just noticed something in the wood line, and as soon as they take a peek, it's Spot. Now, Spot is actually a really cool character. He looks goofy, and when you first see him, you're like, what in the world is that? But those spots on him are actually like portable little space warps, and he flings them like discs and everything. He can reach through them and reach into through a different one. I mean, it's a really cool concept, and he's going after him, and he actually manages to get Bucky's arm, and so Bucky's down to one arm now, right? So both RJ and Bucky are both taking a beating when Bucky finally just tackles him, and he ends up falling into Spot's dimension. He has his own dimension where these warps appear, and he could travel in between them. But that's his home, and you don't mess with dude in his home. Well, technically, it's not his home because he's just a scientist that stumbled across this. But it's where he's most comfortable, and he has the basically home field advantage. Well, RJ makes sure the mission's good. He gets the target out of the area, and then he runs to the motorcycle, and he does something hilarious. He pulls out Bucky's brand new shiny spare arm. From there, RJ just busts through one of the warp holes and into Spot's dimension and just starts firing. And it does one thing, and that's it distracts Spot long enough for RJ to run in there. And bullets are traveling back and forth between the holes. So one's going in, one coming out the other, and it's creating havoc in there. And he runs up, gives Bucky the new arm. Bucky throws it on. It's the nanite technology, so it connects on its own. And he runs up and then just decks Spot. And from there, Spot is out. And they go into cleanup mode. Now, during that phase, basically, Bucky's saying, hey, thank you. I couldn't have done this without you. I don't like the idea of using Tony's souped up arm, but thank you. I owe you one. And RJ just looks at him or looks away from him and says, you're a liar. And it comes down to RJ having read his journal. He's saying, look, you haven't even forgiven yourself. You want this. You're selling me this perfect life that things can get better, but they can't. And Bucky's just like, look, man, that ain't how it is. It's hard. It's you're gonna. I've never promised you that it would be easy, and I still have demons, and they haunt me, and that's how it is. But you can do better. You can be better, and you can figure out how to do that, and you don't have to figure it out alone. And he's torn up about it. RJ he doesn't know what to think still. But he's finally starting to trust Bucky, and that's important moving forward. What happens as soon as you start to build trust? This guy shows up, and this guy claims that he's his father. And Winter Soldier doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know if he needs to protect him. Is this somebody from HYDRA? RJ's excited. The father seems excited. So what do you do next? And so, let's be honest. That's not the most original thing to ever happen. It's kind of sitcom-y, honestly, the way this whole thing's playing out. But it's enjoyable. The art is but it's not distracting from the story. It's been consistent throughout. You don't have one page that you just look at and go, oh my gosh, what is that? Like that Spider-Man number 15, which you haven't watched, you need to go check out. It's been a fun story. The character of RJ, I enjoy him so far. He's got real struggles, and he wants to be heroic. It seems like he wants to do the right thing. He just doesn't know what right looks like. So I'm going to guess where it's going to go from here. RJ is going to trust the father, and Bucky's not, and it's going to create a rift between the two, and it's going to be like, I knew I couldn't trust you, and then you'll find out that the dad is actually a HYDRA agent, and Bucky will save him, and he'll be, I should have trusted you, but it could be a good storyline. Even if it's slightly to moderately predictable, doesn't mean it's not a good story. So we'll see where it goes from here. Who knows? It may surprise us. You never know with these things because it is a comic book after all. Maybe the dad's going to sit across from him and start being like, Alpha, Leather, Samsonite, Brick, Burrito. And then RJ's going to flip out and see what is the target? And the target is Bucky Barnes, and maybe that's what will happen. Who knows? So, but guys, hey, make sure you're there Saturday for the live stream, and leave a comment below. Let me hear what you think about this story so far. And hey, make sure you leave a like. If you're not subscribed, guys, jam that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the notifications. Of course, hey, I'm looking to build my notification squadron, and because those guys are the ones that really help build a channel, is those individuals that are there in the first hour to thumbs up a video, leave a comment, and those things. And I appreciate everyone I do have already within that group. So guys, that's all I got. Real Comic Stacks out. Hit the subscribe button. No. Are you gonna leave a like? Yeah.